In today's fast-paced world, we're constantly bombarded with messages that can make us question our worth. But have we stopped to consider how these insecurities are shaping our everyday lives? As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. This profound insight reminds us just how crucial our self-perception is in nurturing unbreakable self-esteem. Throughout this video, we'll delve into some timeless Stoic principles that can help conquer those nagging insecurities. We'll explore the art of acceptance, learning to embrace our imperfections and focus on what truly matters. You'll discover the empowering skill of directing your energy towards what you can control and how cognitive reframing can transform your inner dialogue. So, let's embark on this journey to harness the wisdom of Stoicism and cultivate a life of resilience and inner peace. Fighting against reality can often feel like trying to hold back the tide. It's an exhausting endeavor that ultimately leads nowhere. The Stoics, however, offer us a way to step out of this relentless struggle. As Epictetus wisely said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple yet profound truth forms the foundation of the Stoic principle of acceptance of reality. Acceptance in Stoicism isn't about surrendering or passively resigning oneself to circumstances. Instead, it's about acknowledging what is beyond our control and choosing to focus our energy on how we respond. When we face insecurities, this idea of acceptance becomes especially powerful. Often, our insecurities are fueled by the disparity between how we wish things were and how they actually are. We fixate on our perceived shortcomings, wishing we could change them rather than accepting them as they are and working with what we have. By accepting reality, we free ourselves from the perpetual cycle of comparison and dissatisfaction. When we embrace life as it is, we stop expending energy on things we cannot change and instead redirect that energy towards personal growth and self-improvement. This does not mean that we abandon all aspirations or desires. Rather, it helps us cultivate a mindset that distinguishes between desires that are within our control and those that are not. Consider someone who is constantly worried about their appearance. The societal standards of beauty are largely beyond one's control, and instead of engaging in an unending battle to fit into a mold that wasn't designed for them, a person who practices acceptance will redirect their focus. They might choose to appreciate the unique qualities they possess and work towards being healthy rather than trying to fit an ideal. In doing so, they reduce the mental burden of striving for an unattainable standard and instead foster self-esteem through self-care and authenticity. This acceptance also opens the door to living in the present moment. Too often, we dwell on the past or worry about the future, causing unnecessary anxiety and insecurity. By accepting the present, as Epictetus encouraged, we root ourselves in the here and now. This grounding allows us to respond thoughtfully to challenges rather than react out of fear or doubt. When we let go of fighting reality, we gain clarity. We begin to see things as they truly are, which facilitates a more honest assessment of our strengths and areas for growth. This clarity aids in reducing insecurities because it diminishes the noise created by unrealistic comparisons and unattainable goals. So, how can you start practicing acceptance in your own life? Begin by identifying areas where you feel most insecure. Ask yourself, are these elements within my control? If not, acknowledge them as part of your current reality. Then focus your efforts on your reaction and response. Like a seasoned sailor who can't control the wind but can adjust the sails, we too can navigate our lives with greater ease and confidence once we embrace the winds of reality. In embracing this Stoic practice, we not only conquer insecurities but also cultivate a resilient mindset that remains anchored, even amidst life's inevitable storms. As you continue to explore these Stoic habits, remember that acceptance is not the end of striving, but the beginning of a more meaningful and directed journey towards self-esteem and tranquility. Have you ever paused to consider what aspects of your life you truly have control over? This question cuts to the heart of the Stoic philosophy, particularly the dichotomy of control, a concept famously explored by ancient philosophers like Epictetus and Seneca. The Stoics believed that while we can't dictate every event that happens around us, we do have complete authority over our responses to those events. This principle is pivotal because it can dramatically change how we interact with the world, helping us reduce anxiety and build unwavering confidence. In our daily lives, we're often overwhelmed by the sheer number of things that seem to demand our control, from career ambitions and relationships to societal expectations and even the weather. The truth is, however, much of this is beyond our grasp. Recognizing and accepting this fact is liberating. As Seneca wisely put it, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This quote emphasizes the power of internal richness over the endless pursuit of external gains. Let's delve deeper into this idea of control versus influence. Imagine you're organizing an outdoor event. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you prepare for it. You can choose to have a backup plan, such as tents or an indoor option, and carry on with the event calmly and confidently, regardless of rain or shine. This simple mindset shift from trying to control the uncontrollable to focusing on your reactions reduces stress and anxiety significantly. It empowers you to move forward with confidence, knowing you've done all you can within the boundaries of your influence. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, our attitudes, we begin to harness a profound internal power. For instance, if someone criticizes you, you don't have control over their words or opinions, but you do have control over how you interpret and respond to them. Do you let it upset your day, or do you choose to view it as an opportunity for growth and self-reflection? This internal focus breeds resilience and assurance. When you're rooted in what's within your power, outside events lose their hold over your emotional state. Another poignant example is when dealing with setbacks or failures. Many people fear failure because they associate it with external validation. But Stoicism teaches that failure is simply an event, neutral in nature, until we define it through our response. By acknowledging what happened, learning from it, and then deciding on your next course of action, you take a constructive approach that not only addresses the situation but also strengthens your self-esteem. In practice, applying this principle involves a continuous, conscious effort to separate what is within your control from what is not. Begin each day with a brief reflection. Identify areas where you might be expending unnecessary energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Redirect your focus toward actions and decisions that are genuinely within your purview. This approach not only reduces anxiety, but also fosters a deep-seated confidence that isn't easily shaken by life's unpredictabilities. When you consistently engage with life in this way, you create an unshakable foundation of self-assurance. You develop an inner well-being that remains steadfast regardless of the storms that might rage around you. As we embrace this Stoic principle of control and influence, we gradually cultivate an internal landscape of peace and power. This shift not only aids in conquering insecurities, but also equips us with a resilient mindset that is both adaptable and confident. Such a mindset allows us to navigate life's complexities with grace and assurance, knowing that while we cannot control every wind, we can always adjust our sails. In the world of Stoicism, the ability to change how we perceive our experiences is not just a practice but a powerful tool for personal transformation. Known as cognitive reframing, this process involves deliberately altering the way we interpret situations, thereby transforming potential setbacks into stepping stones. To understand how this can affect our lives, let's explore an ancient practice called cognitive distancing, which has its roots in Stoic philosophy. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a renowned Stoic thinker, imparted timeless wisdom in his meditations. One particularly illuminating quote goes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. With this in mind, imagine a challenge you face, not as a barrier but as a chance to advance." This mindset shift is at the heart of cognitive reframing. The concept of cognitive distancing involves stepping back from our immediate emotional reactions to gain a clearer perspective. It's about viewing our thoughts as separate from our identity, allowing us to approach them more objectively. This distance helps us break free from automatic negative thought patterns and enables us to replace them with more constructive interpretations. Think of a time when you faced criticism at work. At first glance, it might seem like a direct assault on your abilities, igniting doubt and insecurity. However, through cognitive reframing, this criticism can be viewed as beneficial feedback, a guide pointing you towards areas for growth and improvement. Rather than feeling defeated, you can embrace the opportunity to learn and evolve. This reframing transforms what initially appeared as a weakness into a strength by shifting the lens through which you view the situation. Let's take another scenario, a failed project or endeavor. It's easy to see failure as a reflection of our inadequacies, but reframing encourages us to see it as a necessary step on the path to success, a valuable learning experience that informs and enhances our future efforts. This way, what once was perceived as an obstacle now becomes an integral part of building resilience and skill. Cognitive reframing isn't about ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is positive. Rather, it's about acknowledging the reality of the situation, then choosing a perspective that empowers and encourages positive action. It's a disciplined practice that involves identifying automatic thoughts, questioning their validity, and consciously opting for interpretations that serve our growth. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who famously reframed thousands of failed experiments as crucial steps toward the invention of the electric light bulb. Instead of viewing these attempts as failures, Edison saw them as discoveries of methods that didn't work, each bringing him closer to success. This mindset, aligned with Stoic principles, illustrates how reframing our perceptions can unlock creativity and perseverance. Incorporating cognitive reframing into your life begins with self-awareness. Start by monitoring your thoughts, especially in situations that trigger insecurity or stress. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about this situation? How else might I view it? With practice, you'll develop a mental agility that turns potential setbacks into opportunities for growth. As we've explored the power of cognitive reframing, we've seen how it can fundamentally alter our interaction with the world. By changing our perspective, we transform challenges into catalysts for personal development. This Stoic principle not only helps conquer insecurities, but also equips us with a mindset that is resilient, adaptable, and consistently focused on growth. As Marcus Aurelius beautifully articulated, the path forward often lies hidden within the obstacles themselves, inviting us to perceive and pursue them with newfound insight and determination. Imagine waking up each morning with a clear mind, ready to embrace the day without the weight of past regrets or future anxieties. This clarity, this sense of calm, is the gift of mindfulness, a practice deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy that holds the power to transform insecurities into confidence. At its core, mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment, cultivating an awareness that allows us to engage with life directly and authentically. The Stoics, like the great Seneca, understood this well. He once said, the greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. In other words, by constantly anticipating the future or dwelling on the past, we neglect the only time truly available to us, the present. So, how can mindfulness, this art of presence, help diminish insecurities? It starts with awareness, an understanding that our thoughts and emotions are transient and do not define us. By practicing mindfulness, we gain the ability to observe our insecurities without being consumed by them. This detachment empowers us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, providing a sense of control and stability. Mindfulness practices invite us to experience life more deeply, encouraging us to engage with our surroundings and ourselves in a non-judgmental way. Through this lens of acceptance and curiosity, we start to see insecurities for what they truly are: fleeting feelings that don't have to dictate our self-worth or actions. Consider a common scenario: giving a presentation in front of a large audience. Many of us experience a surge of insecurities in these moments, worrying about how we'll be perceived. Mindfulness teaches us to focus on the task at hand rather than the judgment of others. By staying grounded in the present and concentrating on our breath or the words we're communicating, we shift our attention away from fears of inadequacy. Over time, this practice builds a robust self-esteem as we learn to trust in our abilities and fully engage with each moment. Moreover, mindfulness creates a space where self-compassion can flourish. In the mindful state, we become more accepting of ourselves, recognizing that it's okay to have insecurities as part of the human experience. This acceptance is crucial for self-esteem, as it replaces harsh self-criticism with understanding and support. To incorporate Stoic mindfulness into your daily life, begin with simple practices like mindful breathing or a short meditation. Take a few minutes each morning to sit quietly, focusing on your breath and observing any thoughts or feelings that arise without attaching judgment to them. This practice nurtures a mental environment where insecurities lose their power and clarity takes center stage. Another approach is mindful reflection, inspired by Marcus Aurelius' nightly reviews, where he would contemplate his day, understanding his actions and thoughts without self-reproach. This gentle reflection encourages improvement and acceptance, fostering a balanced self-view. Practicing mindfulness can also extend beyond formal meditation. Engage fully in your daily activities, whether it's eating, walking, or having a conversation. Being present in these moments enhances your connection to life and reduces the grip insecurities have on your mind. In mindfulness, we find a sanctuary from the storm of insecurities, creating a life defined by presence and peace. By grounding ourselves in the now, we align more closely with the Stoic path, cultivating a strong and unwavering self-esteem. This powerful practice not only diminishes our insecurities but also enriches our lives, allowing us to navigate them with purpose and poise. As Seneca eloquently reminds us, living in the moment frees us from the shackles of tomorrow and truly enriches today. It's crucial to remember that emotions, while powerful, are not facts. They are temporary states of mind that do not define our reality. This understanding lies at the heart of emotional detachment, a key Stoic principle that fosters resilience and clarity in our lives. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control the emotions we initially feel, we do have control over how we respond to them. This perspective is famously encapsulated in the words of Epictetus, who said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." This quote underscores the Stoic belief that our interpretation of events, rather than the events themselves, determines our emotional response. By learning to view our emotions with detachment, we can choose how much impact they have on us. Emotional detachment doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring emotions. Rather, it involves observing them objectively and without judgment. When we experience an emotion, whether it's fear, anger, or sadness, Stoicism advises us to step back and recognize it as a natural reaction to external stimuli. From this vantage point, we can assess our emotions' validity and relevance to our current situation, ultimately deciding not to let them dictate our actions. Imagine experiencing a moment of frustration during a challenging task. Our automatic response might be to feel overwhelmed or defeated. However, by practicing emotional detachment, we can acknowledge the frustration without letting it control us. Instead of lashing out or giving up, we pause, examine the emotion, and then decide on a constructive course of action. This practice not only mitigates the immediate impact of negative emotions, but also strengthens our overall resilience over time. Consider the common experience of social rejection. The immediate emotional reaction may be one of hurt or inadequacy. The Stoics suggest acknowledging this pain without allowing it to become a self-defining narrative. By detaching from the initial emotional response, we gain the space to reflect on the situation rationally. Was the rejection personal or simply a matter of circumstance? By shifting our perspective, we reduce the emotional weight we carry and protect our self-esteem from unnecessary harm. Another practical example is navigating through disagreement or criticism. Instead of reacting defensively or harboring resentment, we can choose to perceive such interactions as opportunities to gain new insights or improve communication skills. This detached approach prevents emotions from clouding our judgment, enabling us to maintain harmony in our relationships and professional lives. To cultivate emotional detachment, begin by developing a habit of mindfulness, as discussed previously. This practice helps create the mental space needed to observe emotions without getting swept away by them. When you notice a strong emotional response, take a moment to breathe deeply and assess the source and nature of the feeling. Ask yourself, is this emotion based on assumptions or reality? How does it serve me in this moment? Journaling can also be a valuable tool for processing emotions. At the end of each day, reflect on the emotional highs and lows you experienced. Write about how you responded and consider how detachment might alter your reactions in the future. This exercise reinforces the habit of reflection and promotes self-awareness. In practicing emotional detachment, we develop an inner fortitude that allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with equanimity. This practice, grounded in Stoic thought, enhances our ability to respond to challenges with wisdom and calmness. As we learn to manage our emotional responses more effectively, we cultivate a steadfast resilience that supports a balanced and fulfilling life, echoing the enduring wisdom of the Stoics. Have you ever stopped to wonder how often you truly reflect on your personal growth? In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to get caught up in a whirlwind of tasks and forget to pause for a moment of introspection. Yet, for those who follow Stoic philosophy, self-reflection is a foundational practice. It is through this lens of introspection that we begin to understand our insecurities and embark on a journey of continual improvement. Self-reflection in Stoicism isn't just a casual glance inwards. It's a deliberate and disciplined practice of examining our thoughts, actions, and reactions. This process, akin to a sculptor refining their masterpiece, allows us to identify areas where we fall short while celebrating progress in our journey towards becoming a better version of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and a devout Stoic, frequently engaged in self-examination. His meditations are a testament to the power of introspection in fostering personal growth. One of his notable quotes states, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This suggests that by examining and refining our inner world, we can transform our character and thereby our external reality. So, why is self-reflection so crucial in addressing insecurities? First, it provides clarity. By taking the time to reflect, we uncover the root causes of our insecurities, which often stem from unchallenged beliefs or past experiences. Once identified, these roots can be addressed and reframed, allowing us to break free from their hold. For instance, consider the common insecurity of feeling inadequate in professional settings. Through self-reflection, you might realize that this feeling is linked to a past experience where you faced criticism. Recognizing this connection enables you to approach similar situations with more awareness, choosing responses that promote growth rather than fear. Additionally, self-reflection encourages accountability. By regularly examining our actions and their alignment with our values, we take responsibility for our growth. This accountability is empowering as it reinforces the belief that we have the agency to change and improve. It shifts our focus from external validation to internal fulfillment, which is more sustainable and rewarding. Practically, how can we integrate self-reflection into our lives? A simple yet effective method is keeping a journal. Each day, set aside a few minutes to write about your experiences, emotions, and any challenges faced. Reflect on why these events impacted you as they did, and consider what they reveal about your current mindset. Journaling not only helps you process emotions but also tracks your growth over time, making it easier to identify patterns and progress. Another practice inspired by Marcus Aurelius is the nightly review. Before bed, reflect on your day and ask yourself what you did well and what you could have done better. This gentle review fosters a mindset of continuous learning and improvement without harsh self-criticism. Engaging in self-reflection is like polishing a mirror. Over time, it allows us to see ourselves more clearly. For the Stoics, this practice is not about achieving perfection, but about embracing the ongoing process of self-improvement. Through self-reflection, we build resilience against insecurities, transforming them from barriers into bridges for personal growth. Ultimately, by incorporating self-reflection into our daily routine, we not only adhere to a key Stoic principle, but also unlock a pathway to a more authentic and fulfilling life. Through introspection, we paint our souls with the vibrant colors of our highest thoughts, enriching our internal world and, in turn, positively affecting the world around us. Picture this: you're sitting on your porch sipping a warm cup of tea and watching the sun dip below the horizon. It's a simple moment that suddenly fills you with a profound sense of peace. You feel grateful not necessarily for anything grand or extravagant, but for the quiet beauty of the present. This kind of gratitude is a powerful tool in the Stoic arsenal, one that can significantly diminish the grip of insecurities by reinforcing contentment with what we have rather than what we lack. Let's delve deeper into this. Many of our insecurities stem from a perceived gap between where we are and where we think we ought to be. The constant barrage of external comparisons, from social media highlights to societal expectations, often blinds us to the blessings already present in our lives. In such a context, cultivating gratitude becomes a revolutionary act of self-liberation. It shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance, from what is missing to what is available in the here and now. The Stoics were advocates of living in accordance with nature, which included finding joy in simplicity and appreciating the present moment. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, beautifully expressed this sentiment in his writings. He stated, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This quote encapsulates the essence of contentment rooted in gratitude, finding joy not in opulence, but in the richness of a moment lived fully. Consider a relatable scenario. You're scrolling through social media and you see friends traveling to exotic locations or achieving career milestones. It's easy to slip into a mindset of inadequacy or envy. However, by practicing gratitude, you can reframe this experience. Instead of longing for distant adventures, you might focus on the warmth of your home, the camaraderie of close friends, or the peace of an evening spent in solitude. This doesn't mean settling for less. It means embracing what is while still striving for personal growth. Gratitude doesn't halt ambition. It grounds it in appreciation, making the journey itself as meaningful as the destination. One practical way to incorporate gratitude into daily life is through a gratitude journal. Each evening, take a few moments to reflect and jot down a few things you're thankful for. They could be as simple as a delicious meal, a moment of laughter, or a supportive conversation. Over time, this practice shifts your mental focus, training you to naturally seek out and recognize the positive aspects of your life. Another method is to start your day with a moment of mindful gratitude. Before diving into the day's tasks, pause and mentally list things you're grateful for. This can set a positive tone for the day, anchoring you in a mindset of abundance rather than lack. Living with gratitude not only helps weaken insecurities by shifting focus, but also enriches our lives with a sense of fulfillment. It allows us to step back from the rush of more and find contentment in enough. The Stoics teach that by embracing gratitude, we nurture a deep-seated contentment that gradually erodes the power insecurities have over us. Thus, as we reflect on Seneca's wisdom and the power of gratitude, let us embrace each sunset, each simple pleasure, each connection, with the knowledge that in appreciating what we have, we cultivate a richer, more secure sense of self. This practice of gratitude is not just a momentary act, but a lifelong habit that reshapes our relationship with ourselves and the world around us. Fear is an innate part of the human experience, often lurking in the shadows of our minds, ready to pounce at the slightest provocation. But have you ever stopped to question the true nature of fear and its intricate ties to insecurity? At its core, fear thrives on uncertainty and the unknown, feeding into our insecurities and reflecting our deepest vulnerabilities. Yet, Stoicism offers a transformative approach. The courage to face our fears is not only possible but essential for building lasting confidence. The Stoics teach that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willful act of confronting it. This principle is underpinned by a profound understanding of fear's nature and how it can enslave us if left unchallenged. As Epictetus insightfully noted, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This quote underscores the Stoic belief that true freedom arises when we have the courage to face our fears and overcome them, rather than allowing them to dictate our lives. Throughout history, Stoic figures have exemplified this courage, setting powerful examples for us to follow. One such figure is Cato the Younger, a Roman statesman known for his steadfast commitment to his principles even in the face of immense personal risk. During a time of political turmoil, Cato stood firm against Julius Caesar's rise to power, openly opposing a dictator who threatened the very fabric of the Roman Republic. Cato's bravery wasn't born from a lack of fear. Rather, it was his recognition of the importance of his values over his personal safety that propelled him forward. His courage serves as a testament to the strength found in adhering to one's convictions despite fear. Another exemplary Stoic is Marcus Aurelius, whose reign as a Roman emperor was marked by constant challenges, from military threats to personal tragedies. Despite these adversities, Marcus maintained a composed and courageous demeanor, often reflecting on the nature of fear and how to rise above it in his meditations. His life illustrates the power of courage not just in public affairs but in personal struggles as well. By facing his fears, Marcus was able to remain faithful to his Stoic ideals and govern with wisdom and compassion. But how can we, in our contemporary world, embrace this Stoic lesson of courage? It begins with recognizing that fear is a signal, not a stop sign. When confronted with fear, assess its source and contemplate what lies beyond it. Is it a fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown? Once identified, the next step is to take action, however small. Each step forward, no matter how incremental, chips away at fear's hold, gradually building your confidence. Consider the fear of public speaking, a common modern-day challenge. While fear may initially paralyze, Stoicism encourages facing it through preparation and practice. Start by speaking in smaller, supportive groups to acclimate yourself to the experience. As courage grows, you expand your comfort zone, transforming fear into a manageable and even exhilarating experience. Moreover, keep in mind the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This exercise involves mentally preparing for potential obstacles, allowing us to confront fears with a rational and composed mindset. By envisioning potential outcomes, you equip yourself with strategies to address them, reducing fear's intensity and empowering you to act courageously. In embracing the Stoic principle of courage, we unlock the door to a life less bound by fear and more defined by confidence and freedom. By following the inspiring examples set by historical Stoic figures and applying these lessons to our personal lives, we cultivate a spirit of bravery that not only conquers our insecurities but also enhances our overall well-being. As Epictetus reminds us, mastering ourselves and thus mastering our fears is the path to true freedom. Have you ever considered how many of your wants are truly essential to your happiness? It's a question that invites us to pause and reflect on our desires, a task the Stoics believed was crucial for a life well lived. In today's world, where consumerism and the constant chase for more are the norms, simplifying our desires is not only a rebellious act but a pathway to profound contentment and self-assurance. The Stoics recognized that the complexity of our desires often leads to a perpetual sense of inadequacy. The more we want, the more we feel we lack, creating an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, articulated this insight with the quote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This suggests that true wealth lies not in abundance but in the ability to find fulfillment in simplicity. But how does simplifying our desires contribute to inner peace? At its core, this Stoic principle teaches us to distinguish between what we need and what we want. Needs are often simple and few: security, nourishment, companionship. Wants, on the other hand, can be infinite. When we anchor our happiness in fulfilling endless wants, we set ourselves up for a life of constant striving and comparison, where contentment remains perpetually out of reach. By focusing on essential desires, we release ourselves from the chains of external validation and societal pressure. This shift opens up space in our lives for genuine joy and gratitude, untainted by the ceaseless chase for more. For example, consider the craving for material possessions. While new gadgets and fashion might provide temporary excitement, they rarely deliver lasting satisfaction. Instead, the pursuit often leads to financial stress or the longing for the next new thing. Simplifying this desire might mean focusing on quality over quantity, seeking meaningful experiences over material accumulation, or embracing minimalism. Let's take a moment to reflect on how simplifying desires influenced a Stoic figure. Seneca, despite his wealth as a Roman statesman, consistently advocated for simplicity. He lived modestly and often retired to the countryside, finding solace and clarity in nature away from the luxuries of city life. This choice exemplifies how simplifying desires can foster mental clarity and serenity, keeping the external world from complicating inner peace. In practical terms, how can we begin simplifying our own desires? Start by identifying areas in your life where you feel the most pressure to accumulate or achieve. Is it career advancement, social status, material possessions? Next, question the root of these desires. Are they truly aligned with your values, or are they influenced by external expectations? Once identified, challenge yourself to prioritize what genuinely enriches your life. This might mean setting boundaries on consumption, practicing gratitude for what you already have, or spending time in activities that nurture your soul rather than empty pursuits. Incorporating the practice of simplifying desires into your routine also calls for regular reflection and mindfulness. Take time each day to meditate on your desires, questioning their importance and seeking contentment in simplicity. As you do this, you may find that the weight of inadequacy and envy begins to lift, replaced by a tranquil sense of sufficiency. Ultimately, by embracing the Stoic principle of simplification of desires, we pave the way for a life rich in inner peace and fulfillment. We learn to appreciate the beauty of less, realizing that contentment and self-esteem grow not from the complexity of our wants, but from the depth of our appreciation for what truly matters. In this simplified life, we discover the freedom to be at peace with ourselves and the world around us, just as Seneca advocated centuries ago. Community lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy, an ancient wisdom that champions not just individual resilience but also the vital role of serving others. In our digitally connected yet often emotionally distant world, this Stoic principle resonates more than ever. The act of connecting with and contributing to our communities doesn't just enrich those around us, it deeply nurtures our own sense of self-worth and fortifies us against the shackles of self-focused insecurities. The Stoics taught that we are naturally social beings designed to function best within a community. By dedicating ourselves to the well-being of others, we anchor our lives in a purpose that extends beyond our individual needs and desires. This extension of ourselves into the community diminishes the emphasis on personal inadequacies and redirects our focus towards collective growth and strength. When we shift our priority from self to service, we experience a profound transformation. Insecurities lose their potency as they are replaced by a sense of belonging and significance in the greater human tapestry. Marcus Aurelius, a revered Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, eloquently stated, "Men exist for the sake of one another, teach them then or bear with them." This quote underscores the intrinsic value of contribution and patience within community life. By teaching, mentoring, or simply showing compassion, we engage in a reciprocal relationship that enhances both individual and communal resilience. In giving, we receive, a truth that defines the Stoic approach to social involvement. Stoic virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance naturally align with community service and engagement. Wisdom guides us to recognize the needs of others and act thoughtfully. Courage inspires us to step up and support those in need, even when it challenges our comfort zones. Justice ensures fairness and equality in our interactions, and temperance keeps us balanced and selfless in our intentions. Together, these virtues form a robust framework for meaningful social involvement. Reflect on the impact of volunteering, for example. By dedicating time to support a cause, you exemplify Stoic virtues in action. Whether it's helping at a local food bank, mentoring youth, or participating in community clean-ups, these acts of service empower us to step beyond the confines of self-doubt and into a space of shared humanity. Through these efforts, we affirm our worth not through comparison but through contribution. Think, too, of the significance of being an active listener in our social circles. In a world rife with distractions, the simple act of truly listening to friends, family, or colleagues can be a powerful form of service. It shows respect and care, fostering connections that bolster communal and personal well-being. Furthermore, engaging deeply with community does not only reduce insecurity but also builds resilience against it. When we encounter challenges, knowing we are part of a supportive network alleviates the feeling of isolation and enables us to navigate difficulties with collective strength. Incorporating community and contribution into our lives is not solely about grand gestures. It begins with small, consistent actions that promote connection and support. Start by identifying needs in your local area or within your social circles where you can make a difference. Approach each interaction with the intention of contributing positively, be it through offering help, sharing knowledge, or simply being present. As we embrace the Stoic principle of community and contribution, we find a fulfilling path that not only enhances the lives of those around us but also enriches our own. By anchoring our self-worth in the collective well-being, we cultivate a life defined not by the insecurities of the self, but by the strength of our shared humanity. In this way, we echo the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, serving as pillars of support and growth in an interconnected world. As we draw the curtain on our journey through the profound teachings of Stoicism, it's clear that the path to conquering insecurities is both ancient and timeless. At its core, Stoicism offers a pathway to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength, empowering us to develop an unbreakable self-esteem. We've explored the principle of acceptance, understanding that peace begins when we embrace reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. By acknowledging our limitations and the uncontrollable nature of external events, we liberate ourselves from the chains of frustration and disappointment. Through acceptance, we free up energy to focus on what truly matters, our inner world, and how we choose to respond. Next, we delved into the dichotomy of control, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. This guiding principle teaches us to distinguish between what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, and what is not. By channeling our efforts toward what we can influence, we cultivate a powerful sense of autonomy and assurance, no longer slaves to the whims of fate or the approval of others. Courage, another fundamental Stoic virtue, has shown us that the essence of bravery lies not in the absence of fear, but in the willingness to confront it head-on. By facing our fears with resolve, we transform them from insurmountable barriers into manageable hurdles. This courage not only diminishes insecurity, but also builds resilience and fortitude. Throughout these principles, we've seen how the Stoic practice of cognitive reframing allows us to alter our perceptions, turning potential setbacks into opportunities for growth. By changing our internal dialogue, we redefine our narrative, fostering a mindset that is both adaptive and empowered. As we integrate these teachings into our daily lives, we find that Stoicism is not merely a philosophy to read about, but a practical guide for living with purpose and peace. Imagine approaching each day with the clarity of acceptance, the focus of controlled influence, and the bravery of courage. In doing so, we build a life that is resilient and grounded in self-worth, a life where insecurities hold little sway. To leave you with a lasting thought, we turn to the wisdom of Seneca, who once said, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." This quote encapsulates the Stoic ideal that quality of life is measured not by how much we acquire or achieve, but by how well we live in harmony with our principles. As we conclude this exploration, I invite you to carry these Stoic insights forward. Apply them in your interactions, decisions, and reflections. Notice how they gradually shift your perspective and strengthen your sense of self. We'd love to hear how these Stoic principles resonate with you. Share your thoughts in the comments, perhaps a personal story of how you faced insecurities using these teachings. If this content has sparked a curiosity for more, consider subscribing to our channel. Together, we'll continue to delve into the rich world of Stoicism and other life-affirming philosophies. With each new day, remember that the power to conquer insecurities lies within you. Embrace the wisdom of the Stoics and embark on your journey toward unbreakable self-esteem. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, live bravely and wisely.